All right, guys. Today's date is January 18th, and you guys are about to learn how to solve quadratic equations by using square roots. All right? By using square roots. This should already be committed to your notes. Anybody still writing? All right. I'm sorry, baby. You know what? Here's two more for right. All right, y'all, let's go. Young people, when a quadratic is in this form, okay? When a quadratic is in this form, x squared plus 25 equals 0, or x squared minus 25 equals 0, right? 4x squared minus 48. 3x squared equals 15, okay? Notice that each of these quadratics in this section, okay, are all missing the x term. They're all missing the x term, with exception for the last example, all right? But when they're in the previous three formats, young people, you will use square roots, or you can use square roots. Baby, sugar baby. This is the second time you've been up messing with them headphones. I need you to focus on this lesson. Like you focusing on them headphones. What you need to get? Baby, if you don't sit your, baby, I'm Asher too. Come on. I'm gonna be Asher together. Sit down. Yes?
Miss Bunting, sorry to bother you. Do you have Josiah West?
I do.
May I see her 703, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Wait, is it immediate? Do you need her right now, right now?
No, ma'am. Not right now, right now.
Okay, so like in about 20 minutes. Can I send her?
Fine. Yes,
Okay, thank you so much.
thank you.
All right. So first three, notice that that x term, remember a quadratic is in the format ax squared plus bx plus c. Remember 703, okay, baby? Ax squared plus bx plus c. That bx term is missing. When that bx term is missing, you can solve this quadratic by using square roots. But that last one is in something called vertex form, okay? It's in something called vertex form. Now, because of the way the standards are structured, we didn't talk about completing the square and how to convert a quadratic to vertex form, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. When it's in that format as well, the very last one, the x term, if you were to expand the left-hand side of the equation, you would have that x term, but as long as it's set up like a perfect square, okay, the quantity of x minus 3 squared equals 11, if it's set up that way, you can use square roots to solve it. And I'm about to show you how momentarily, okay? Let's go. So, and also young people, when you see that plus symbol over the negative symbol, and your phone should be away, your earbud should be put away, okay? All of the electronic devices should be put away, all right? When you see it that way, you read it plus or minus, okay? So plus or minus 3, because it literally means you're both adding and subtracting 3 to whatever the quantity is in front of it. Does that make sense? All right. So here's the square root property, young people. And the text defines it or offers that to solve a quadratic equation in the form of x squared equals a, take the square root of both sides. So you can isolate the x squared term and then isolate the constant term on the other side. So x squared is on one side, the constant term is on the other. You can use square roots to solve it. I don't like the example that they provided, so let me give this one. Say we had, I'm going to change my color too. Say we had x squared equals 9. Okay? I have my x squared term isolated on one side, and I have my constant term isolated on the other, right? I just told you you can use square roots to solve it, right? I just said that. How do you do that? Well, young people, remember, when you're solving, you're trying to figure out what x is equal to. Right now, I have x squared is equal to 9. I got to get rid of the squared, okay? What's the opposite of square? Well, it's in the title. To undo squared, you must square root, okay? So the square root of x squared. So what happens with it when you pair a square root symbol with a squared symbol, and vice versa? If I take the square root of a square, they cancel each other out, okay? This cancels with this. Or think about it like this. What times what equals x squared? X times x equals x squared. So the square root of x squared is simply going to be x. Does that make sense? Now, I just can't slap a square root on the left-hand side of the equal sign. Whatever I do on the left-hand side, I must also do on the right-hand side to maintain balance, yes? All right? Now, everybody knows that the square root of 9 is what? 3, because 3 times 3 equals 9. But young people, please be advised at this time, the answer is not just 3, because just like 3 times 3 is equal to a positive 9, so is negative 3 times negative 3. Doesn't that equal to a positive 9 as well? So we must acknowledge at this point in our instructional programming, okay, we must acknowledge that the answer, when I take the square root of 9, is both positive and negative 3. Okay? How are we feeling? So far, so good? Now, does it become more involved? Yeah, it does. But I'm going to show you how to manage accordingly, okay? Let's go. May I proceed? All right. Look at this one. This is just a nice regular x squared equals 96. Just like the example that I just gave you, except 96 is not a perfect square. So I have x squared equals 96. Everybody should be writing that down in their notebook. Everybody, Kendall. Okay, so I got to solve for x. How do I get rid of the squared? How do I undo squared? So on your paper, for the people at home, I'm going to try to do better about this. Let me rewrite it so you all can see the logical progression of what's happening. I'm taking the square root of both sides of the equal sign, right? Okay. So the square root of x squared is going to give me what? And then the square root of 96. Well, I know it's going to be plus or minus something, right? Positive or negative something. So what is that going to be, y'all? I could break out me a chart, right? But you got a whole calculator in front of you. Can you just type in the square root of 96, please, and tell me what it is? It's what, baby? 4 root 6. Thank you, Marion. 4 root 6. Now, in the event you don't have a calculator, y'all, you're going to break out your little raggedy chart. You're going to go down the line, okay? What is that? 2, 45, 48. 3 and something, 32. It can't be 31. Okay. Because the 1 and 3 will give me a 3 in the ones place. Does 4 go in there? Yeah, it does. 4 times what? Huh? Y'all better tell me what 4 times what equals 96. Y'all better tell me something. 24, thank you. All right, 5, no, 6, yes. I think it's 16, is it? All right, look. I got 2 perfect squares here, right? I'm going to focus on the one that's the biggest perfect square factor. So I could rewrite the square root of 96 as the square root of 6 times 16. This is if you don't have a calculator, right? And so what's the square root of 16, y'all? Yeah, and that's how we got the 4 root 6. Does that make sense? Okay, but if I were you, I'd just pick up my calculator and just use it, okay? We all right with that? Yes. What's the square root of 16? Well, once you take the square root of 16 and pull out the 4, I'm done. There's nothing left underneath the radical to simplify. Say, Alexis, tell me, why would that? So are you thinking to take the square root of 4 again?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, no.
Like simplify like 2
Yeah. Oh, you mean like 2 times 3 is 6?
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like,
it is, but
no, like when I think it's simplify like 4.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Listen, you see the square root of 6. Okay, this is what we have. So this becomes the square root of 6 times the square root of 16. Point blank and period. The square root of 16 is what? 4. Period. Now, the square root of 6 does not contain any more perfect square factors. I can't break it down any further. Because there isn't one integer that I can multiply by itself that'll give me back 6. So while I appreciate that 2 times 3 is 6, so neither 2 nor 3 are perfect squares.
I'm saying that the square root is 3. That's what I'm thinking.
No, but right. You're adding 3 plus 3 equals 6, right? Baby, you taking on this stance like. So do you understand what's wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. 3 plus 3 is 6, not 3 times 3. Y'all feel me? This only works with multiplication. May I proceed? All right. So the square root of 96 reduces to 4 root 6. And if this is making you feel a little ways, just pick up your calculator. You don't have to believe me, believe your calculator. Type in the square root of 96. Okay, and what does your calculator say? It says 4 root 6, right? And if that square root of 6 can be could have been broken down any further, the calculator would have done it. Okay? Cool? All right, we're moving on. So here's my final answer. X equals plus or minus, positive or negative, 4 root 6. Any further questions or concerns? Okay? All right. Negative 16. Ew. X squared equals negative 16. Y'all, same process. Even though I'm going to have a little funky cell phone in my hand, Savage. Are you telling me to wait?
Wait, no, I was telling you.
Baby, you got me full circle blanked up. I don't care. Check this lesson I'm giving you. Now you got me cussing on my recording. You hush. May I proceed? All right. So how am I going to solve for X, y'all? Square root on both sides, right? It's going to have the square root of X squared equals the square root of negative 16. Now, we talked about this when we were dealing with complex numbers, right? Remember with complex numbers? Well, remember when you have that negative symbol underneath the radical, that's negative 1 times a positive 16, right? So the square root of negative 1, I'm going to pull out an I, aren't I? Yeah. And so that'll be I times the square root of 16. But the square root of 16 equals what? 4. Equals 4. But don't forget, our answer has to be plus or minus 4. So X equals plus or minus, positive or negative, 4I. How we feel? Okay, making sense? I'm going to put some stank on it in a minute. Just a little bit. Can I go? All right. I have x squared plus 7 equals 7. Okay, the x squared isn't by itself. Can I get it by itself? What do I need to move? This 7 right here, right? How am I going to move it? Yep. So you may encounter a situation that can be placed in the x squared equals some value format, right? Okay, so in this case, that cancels out. I get that x squared equals what? Hmm? 7 minus 7 is what? You see that subtraction symbol? I don't know why you want to multiply. That's all right. You caught it though. She caught it, everybody. She caught it. 7 minus 7 is 0, right? So now when I take the square root of both sides, boom, I get that x squared equals plus or minus 0. That's absurd. Because 0 can neither be positive or negative, right? So my answer is just going to be, I put the x squared, y'all. Why y'all ain't say nothing? Got me out here in these streets looking crazy. Okay, x equals plus or minus 0, or positive or negative 0. But 0 can neither be positive nor negative. It's neutral. So my answer will simply be 0. How we feel? Okay, may I proceed? Anybody feeling a little wobbly? Caleb, how you doing back there? Okay. All right, look at this one. Can this one be placed in x squared equals some number format? Sure it can. It's just another extra step. What's the first number I need to move? The 49. Oh, yes. How am I going to move it? Yep. I'm going to add 49 to both sides. So I'll end up with 16x squared. What am I doing? Bless the teacher. Equals 49. Now what do I need to move? Not yet. Don't do the square root yet, because x squared isn't by itself. You feel me? Don't do the square root until x squared is by itself. Okay? I could, but you're going to muddy the water because you have to mitigate the 16, the positive and negative of it all with the 16. You feel what I'm saying? Keep it cute. Keep it cute. You could, though. You could take the square root of both sides at this point. But I don't recommend it. Okay? So we're left with x squared being equal to 49 over 16. Okay? Now, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. Now, just some rules about square roots that you guys probably learned in middle school. When you have the square root of a quotient, okay, when your radicand is a quotient, a fraction, if you will, you can pull the square root apart. So really what's happening, you'll have x is equal to the square root of 4. Ooh. Blessed assurance. Square root of 49 over the square root of 16. Now, is this step necessary? No, it is not. I just need for you all to understand what's actually happening here, okay? And also, if you type this into your calculator, it should do it for you if you use the fraction key underneath the radicals. But the square root of 49 is what? 7. And the square root of 16 is what? And don't forget the plus or minus. Bam. Done. Did your calculator do it for you? If you use the fraction key? It told you 7 over 4 was the answer? Did it put the plus or minus on there? Oh, regular calculator, it should. I didn't have the money for the upgrade, sorry. How we feeling? All right, may I proceed to give you what you need? All the old school hip hop heads in the room. All right, can I go? Okay. Oh, no, baby. Let me write it clearer. x equals plus or minus 7 over 4. Sorry. I'll do better about how I write it, okay? Can I go? Okay. Oh, look at this one. Same situation. What do I need to move first? Kendall, if you don't pick that pencil up, I need to move to 49, right? This time I got to subtract it. So I end up with 100x squared is equal to negative 49. Okay? And then, of course, I'm going to have to divide both sides. Now, yes, as Heaven suggested, I could, because 100 is perfect, I could take the square root of both sides, but I don't recommend it. Get x squared by itself, period. Okay? So now I end up with x squared. Ugh, I should have, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to do something here. All right. And so now we have that x squared equals negative 49 over 100. And just like before, once you've isolated your x squared term, you have negative 49 over 100. To solve for x, I must take the square root of both sides. And guys, I'm doing these extra steps because sometimes I think some students can't see from one line to the next what logically happened. So I'm trying to just spread out all of the steps, okay? If that is not you, if you're okay with just, making a continuous motion, by all means continue as you've been doing. Am I making sense? Okay. All right, so now the square root symbol dissolves the squared symbol, so I'm left with x being equal to what? Now, what's going on? I got this negative symbol underneath the radical. I'm going to go ahead and pull out the I, okay? And then I know that I have the square root of 49 over the square root of 100, okay? So now I know that the square root of 49 is 7, and I know that the square root of 100 is 10, all right? And that's going to be plus or minus 7 over 10. Then I'm going to slap that I on the end. Okay, the I doesn't come first. It comes after the numerical portion. How are we feeling? May I proceed? Somebody said no? Okay, let me know when I can go. Savage, sit up for me, please. If you're ready to move on to Delta Math, by all means. Okay. All righty. Now, here's one that we haven't done yet, right? It's like that. Remember when I said these three are all working together, but there's one that's not like the others, right? This is one of those examples, okay? So we have 2 times the quantity. Now, Savage, if you could take a look at this one for me before you start your Delta Math, I would appreciate it. We have 2 times the quantity of x minus 5 squared is equal to 16, okay? Now, how do you manage this? First of all, the x minus 5 squared portion, that's the part you need to get by itself, okay? I need to isolate this part before I do anything, okay? Because essentially, that is my perfect square. That is literally saying x minus 5 times x minus 5. So imagine x squared is the same thing as saying x times x, right? So the quantity of x minus 5 squared is x minus 5 times x minus 5, right? Keep that in mind. Now, right now it's not by itself. The 2 is keeping it from being by itself. That literally says 2 times the quantity of x minus 5 squared equals 16. How will I get rid of the 2? What should I do, folks? Distribute it? I'm trying to get rid of it. Y'all trying to push it in now. I want it to go away. I hear you, baby. You're right. I want it to go away. It says 2 times the quantity of x minus 5 squared. And second of all, I'm sorry. If I wanted to distribute it, I couldn't do it right now because that squared is right there. I would have to expand it first and then distribute it. If I was doing that, I ain't doing that. I'm solving this equation using square roots. Before I can use the square root, I have to get the square portion by itself. Okay? How am I going to move the 2? That says 2 times, right? What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. What does that do? Michael, you should be writing, baby. You need to move over so you can see the screen better? I think you should. I think you should. Thank you, baby. Okay. All right, so the 2's cancel out, right? Right? We okay with that? And now I'm left with, I'm breaking one of my rules. I'm trying to do something different, y'all. Hold on. Hold on. Trying to spread it all the way out. So now I'm left with the quantity of x minus 5 squared is equal to 8. Okay? The x minus 5 squared portion is by itself. I can't solve for that x when it's inside the parentheses and you got that squared out there, right? How do I get rid of a squared? What do I need to do to it? Square root. That's the only way I can get rid of a square, okay? The square root symbol cancels out that squared symbol, right? You see what I'm talking about? What's left? Very simply, x minus 5. Now, go ahead and just type that into your calculator. It should be, what, 2 root 2? The square root of 8, what is it? 2 root 2? So that's going to be plus or minus 2 root 2. You feel me? You with it? Now look, this is going to look a little weird, y'all. Okay? My next step, let me rewrite it here. I have x minus 5 equals plus or minus 2 root 2. That literally means I'm going to be adding 2 root 2 or subtracting 2 root 2. From what, though? I'm solving for x. What do I need to get rid of? I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Now, watch me now. Watch me. This is going to be a little weird. It may feel a little weird. But you should be accustomed to this when we were using the quadratic formula last semester, but it's okay if you're not. X is finally by itself, but y'all watch. I'm going to slide that positive 5 in front of the plus or minus symbol. Look. 5 plus or minus 2 root 2. Slid it right on in front. Slid it right on in front. Young people, I have 2 answers right here. Either my answer is 5 plus 2 root 2, right? Or 5 minus 2 root 2. Pull it apart. Okay, the plus and minus, they just found a way to condense the problem. Mathematicians love to simplify things and create symbols to do so. That's what that plus or minus means. Does that make sense? Okay. Just pull it apart. I just pulled it apart. That's all. May I proceed? Kendall, did you write this down? Yeah. Listen, this is not the beauty shop. Your hair is already cute. Okay, ma'am? May I proceed? Mm-hmm. You said hold up? Okay. If she breaks out the jam, let me know. Some styling gel, let me know. She break out that, what do y'all use now? Eco? That can too. If she break out the can too, let me know. That can too is good stuff though. It's real good. Moisture. Mm-hmm.
There's not to lay your hair down.
Huh? Oh, the can too is not gonna lay your head. No, it's not gonna. That Eco will. The Eco, that'll stop a semi truck. It will. That's why she's laughing. May I proceed? Alexis, you good? All right. All right, y'all, look at this one. This is too easy for y'all. Do this on your own real quick. Too easy. Too easy. We have negative 3x squared plus 90 equals 0. You are solving for x. I heard a lot of sniffling. I got some tissue over here and some hand sanitizer. Come on. Listen. All right. You already talk about it? What's my first step? I'm gonna do everything y'all tell me to do. Is she right? She sure is. So now I have negative 3x squared is equal to negative 90. All right, now what do I do? Divide by negative 3 on both sides? I sure do. You didn't sound sure though. You didn't know? Yes, you did. But I appreciate you for having the courage to answer the problem. So that's gonna give me a positive 30, right? Now what do I do? And I get that x equals what? Does the square root of 30 break down any further? I don't think it does. It sure doesn't. So guess what my answer is? Plus or minus root 30. That's it. Was anyone afraid of the answer? Did you get this? Y'all was scared? Because it didn't look right. It's right. If you got plus or minus root 30, you are in there. Okay, anybody get anything different? And we want to talk about it. You cool? All right. Good job, guys. Good job. Yo, this is too easy. All these are too easy. Guys, at this point, I'm going to work these out. But if you're ready to move on to Delta Math, by all means, do so at this time. Okay? But I'm going to continue to work these problems out for your viewing pleasure. Young people, before you do so, hold on. Michael. All right, y'all see that minus x squared? If you can manipulate things to keep your x squared term positive, do so. If I were working this problem out, yes, you can move the 90, right? But if I were working this problem out, I would move the x squared by adding x squared to both sides. Okay? And then I would take the square root of both sides per the norm. Okay? So I think the final answer would be x equals, what is that? 3 root positive or negative? 3 root 10. Okay? Pretty simple, cut and dry. Just a different variation there. All right. Can I go? So somebody said, hold up. Okay. 2 more after this. If you feel confident, you may proceed to the Delta Math assignment.
You got the 3 of square root of 10 because it was 30, right?
The square root of 90, the highest perfect square factor inside of 90 is 9. 9 times 10, right? So look, square root of 90 is the square root of 9 times 10, right? And the square root of 9 is what? You adding again. 5 plus 5 is 10, but I'm looking for something that multiply.
Oh, like 5 squared.
Yeah, you got it. Because the square root of 9 is 3 because 3 times 3 equals 9. Please be careful, okay? That's a very common mistake, but it'll have you looking crazy on the test. Use your calculator. I'm saying use your calculator. Just type it in, square root of 90. That way you won't have the you might not make that careless error. You feel me? All right. Can I go? All right, here. I would add 64 to both sides. And all of these examples are done on the recording, guys. Just so you know, that's on the website already. All right, that's my positive 64. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. I get x squared equals 32. Take the square root of both sides. And I get that x is equal to plus or minus, what was that, 16? 4 root 2 will be my final answer. Okay. One more. Can I go? Somebody writing this. Valeria, you writing it? Okay. Last one. This one I'm subtracting 45 from both sides, and I'm just doing this as a courtesy. If you're ready to move on, by all means, bless you. Have x squared is equal to negative 45. I'm going to take the square root of both sides. I have x is equal to I root 45. X is equal to, what is that, 9 times 3 root 5. So that'll be plus or minus 3i root 5. And that's it. Okay. Everybody should be delta mathing at this point. Any questions or concerns, Savaj? Are you done? Huh? With the first, what, like number 1 or the first assignment?
First assignment.
What assignment are you doing? Are you behind?
No.
I'm confused. How many problems have you done there? Baby, you should have did that on Friday, sugar baby. The assignment that you should be doing today is solving quadratics using square roots. Okay, let's stay on task, please. All right. Questions, concerns? Janai, I need to write you that pass. I am available for questions if you guys have any, okay?